Greetings and welcome to my next Gwent deck video. So this is a particular deck that I've been playing around with. It is the KIKIQUEEN Queen Greedy combo. So this one is running Haunt, although I know that Renew has now become a sort of alternative because now you can actually choose to replay Karanthier. So if you choose to, like, let's say, you know, play KIKIQUEEN and then you actually consume Karanthier and then you bring him back with Renew and then you get even more KIKIQUEENs. That is an option, yes, that you can go for. But I just like Haunt just because, you know, I can go one or two routes sort of with monsters here. I can go like round 1 or round 3 with Haunt, and then the other one will be the KIKIQUEEN. The only thing is, whichever round you choose to go KIKIQUEEN Karanthier combo should most likely be the target for Death Shadow. So that's why, if possible, I always try to go Haunt round 1 to sort of ensure that I can keep up in points, whether I'm going first or second. And in the second or third round, depending on, of course, your card composition in hand, then you can pull off the Karanthier and KIKIQUEEN combo. This isn't going to be that long of a deck list breakdown just because I feel like this deck has, you've probably seen this around in ladder already, but I've just had so much fun and so many good games with it that I thought I'd just show you guys and sort of showcase this deck list. I do again, if you guys haven't seen the update video yesterday, definitely go to check it out. That is a relatively important one, and it's sort of going to start shaping like what my uploads and what my streams are going to look like in the future. So this particular one, we got Dettlaff. Dettlaff is one of the cards that is a good sort of synergy with Haunt. You can also play it with the Karanthier and KIKIQUEEN combo because you have the capability of playing Chiron. So Chiron you can also use as a means of eating Dettlaff for some extra points down the line, you know, apart from the KIKIQUEEN boosts. The one main thing that you really want to be concerned about is to make sure that a lot of your high power units, aka Osril, and the cards that consume, make sure they can trigger KIKIQUEEN's boosts almost every turn. Otherwise, they could get targeted by Stunning Blow, by Gutting Slash, by Poison. Well, they're gonna get taken out by Poison regardless, but you know, you get what I'm saying, right? So you want to make sure that you have all of your Thrive activating units sort of in the third round, and the units that make sure that happens for them. The Penitent, the Beast combo, you want to make sure you get them out round 1. Round 3, you don't want to get too slow with that. So again, it's sort of just a means of keeping pressure for your opponent. And yeah, that's essentially what that combo's there for. You got plenty of ways of making insectoids. You got 1 Aracha's Nest. You got 2 Endrega Eggs, 2 Endrega Warriors. You can even use Endrega Larva if the opportunity is there for it. You also have Chiron. And Glusty Warp is there, but I mostly would try to use him as a combo with the Spectres and the Rats, just because, you know, there's really no sense in eating the Spiders, especially if they get boosted by the KIKIQUEEN. But of course, if you make an excess amount of KIKIQUEENs, of Insectoids, then that could be your opportunity for using Glusty Warp. But I would prefer having him use round 1, possibly with the Haunt, because again, you have all those Spectres, so, you know, a Glusty Warp finish is there. So the opportunity for you to be able to win on even here is actually very high. So you actually have plenty of good tempo plays here with Haunt, with the Death Wishes. You can even thin your deck out a little bit using Foglet and Penitent, which is really nice. As long as you have enough consumes and enough units that get into high power for your third round, of course, for your KIKIQUEEN combos, then you should be fine. As with most greedy decks, this gets destroyed by a Geralt Erdrin. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can really do about that, but it is what it is. So, yeah, it's gonna be it for the deck list breakdown. I did not mean to make it the same amount of time as the music, but, yeah, let me send you guys over to the gameplay. Okay, so the first game I'm going to be showcasing to you guys here will be against a very popular leader nowadays in the ladder, and that is Uprising. So in this particular case, we do end up going first. You want to make sure you get rid of Oswald because you don't want to end up breaking a card in round 1 if, you know, you have to push that far. Here is where I'm looking for Haunt, of course, because I have so many cards with Death Wish. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but the good news is we do have Naglfar, so that is a way for us to sort of look for Mata or for Haunt. Either one will get us the Haunt. But you also want to consider sort of your chances of, like, what's the worst combo out there. You want to make sure you don't draw into those, or at least one of those, so you kind of have to sort of assess the risk there versus reward. Eaghern start here would have been good if I wanted to end the first round quickly, which I think should have been my goal, especially after seeing that the Naglfar should have been a bit too much of a risk factor there to rely on it to get Mata. So I did realize that and decided to play Eaghern immediately. I know for a fact that Uprising is not known for having a lot of damage output cards. Unless of course they're running a bunch of, you know, and siege engines and stuff like that, but that's not exactly likely. They're more Draug, humans, Visegird, all that stuff. The Visegird doesn't really happen till obviously the end of the round, so perfect opportunity to get Ekern out. He does get his Trident infantry boosted, so he is gonna start pinging away at my units. I just went ahead and just start with the deck thin with Foglet, so now my chances of drawing the cards I need for round 2 have actually increased. By this point, he's actually fallen very far behind in power that I believe this is a turn 3 exit for him. So after he plays this Redanian Elite, I don't know what I decide to do. I think I just play Spectre. Yeah, because I'm actually expecting him to sort of take a pass here, honestly, at this point. If he doesn't, then, you know, that's where I start building my ones, and I can start actually sort of setting up for Glusty Warp. So yeah, I believe this is a round 1, a turn 3 exit for him because he's just very far behind in points. Because I could have just kept pushing him if I had wanted to. I had Dettlaff, I had Indrega Eggs, I had a Kikimori Warrior, so, and then to just finish everything off, I did have Glusty Warp. So this was still a good hand, even though like sort of the intention is, again, you want Haunt, so, you know, to at least to make sure that the pressure is maximized on him, you know. So that's sort of the idea behind that. So quick round 1 exit there for him, which is good for us because now our chances of being able to draw Haunt are actually higher. Whether I got Haunt here or not, if I had drawn a gold card, it increases my Naglfar's chances of drawing the Haunt. So that's essentially the card that we need at the moment. We did get Mata, so that is our Haunt. At this point, I'm just trying to look at, you know, what Death Wish cards I have, what's ready to go. So I couldn't start here with Mata, obviously, because he's at 10 cards and I'm at only at 8. And I'm at 8. Well, that doesn't matter. It's because he's at 10 cards that I can't play Mata. But so I needed to play a card, and it was just the Spectre there. So after he places Radovid's Royal Guard, that is my opportunity to draw Mata, and to play Mata and draw Haunt. And I knew for a fact that I had still enough Death Wishes in hand that I can trigger both of Haunt's chapters. So there is that. The thing with Mata is it's actually better if you're the one bleeding with Mata, because if you're getting bled and... Sorry, no. Yeah, if you're the one bleeding and they play Mata on you, then that just gives you another card to sort of bleed them with. So that's actually really good for you. That is, of course, granted that you can maintain the power that they'll have to play relatively good cards to, you know, to make sure they maintain the lead, right? So I do trigger Haunt here, me hoping that he doesn't have a Bomb Heaver. Most decks now run Bomb Heaver nowadays, but, you know, it is what it is. We still have the lead, though, so we can actually still maintain here pretty well. That's why it's a good thing I actually kept another Death Consume unit with the Indrigo Worker. I don't remember what it's called now. But yeah, so at this point I figured I'd just play Dettlaff, just because I need to have the points. I need to stay in the lead. Because I feel like the longer the round goes, the better it is for him, because he can actually summon more units, which actually could cause a problem for us, because that's exactly how Uprising works, is the more units they have on the field, the more power they get on their Lyrian Incitements, and the more power they get on their Visegirds. So if you can force him into a short round, which is the specialty of the Monsters factions, then you're gonna do very well. So I just did a little bit skip there, so just to see what his next move is gonna be. So it is Queen Adalia, so this is where we finally see him commit sort of the starting point of the strength of Uprising, is you now start making copies of Caravan Vanguard. I will have an Uprising deck up, but it won't necessarily be revolved around Caravan Vanguard. You'll see what it is when it comes out, of course. At this point, I just get the Beast, just because I feel like I should start sort of generating my own points, and the Beast will do that for me. So it's for another 2 turns, it'll be good. Now he triggers Draug. At this point, I'm like, yes, this is really good. He's committed sort of the damage aspect of his combo. Now it's just to deal with his boosting aspect. So getting Draug out of the way here was actually really good. I'm almost happy here to actually take the pass, believe it or not. I don't know if I do that or if I actually play the Consume on Dettlaff to get him out there one more time, but I think I choose to take the pass. Just because I feel like if I keep going, I might actually overbleed and, you know, mess myself up even more. I can't quite remember this. I had this match yesterday and I had a full day full of work to do, so it was hard to remember this. I guess we'll see what I do when I make the move, huh? As you can see, I'm actually very much deciding on what move to make. I think if I'm hovering over this, I think I decide to actually go and eat the Dettlaff. Yes. If I had actually gone for the Endrega workers, sorry, for the Endrega eggs first, and I feel like I would have gotten too slow. That's why I decided against it. Plus, I needed more insectoids for round 3. So, you know, I had to keep that one as well. So, this is where he can actually get 2 extra copies of Spectres here, plus 3 more damage, however he wants to distribute it himself. It's kind of tough. Like I say, it's hard to remember, right? So at this point, like, just the fact that I was even able to get him to commit on his boosting aspect, on his damage aspect was really nice, which means I don't need to worry about, like, let's say my KIKIQUEEN getting destroyed in round 3, except perhaps Visegard. Visegard may be the only thing that's probably hindering me from keeping my KIKIQUEEN's potential powerful. So at this point, he does go ahead and eat the 2 rats and create 2 more Kaedweni Revenants because of them. Okay, so he does go for the Voimir. I feel like he could have I feel like if he had played maybe 1 more charge on the Spectre, but I guess he doesn't know whether I was going to take the pass or not. At this point, I think I took the pass just because I feel like, yeah, if I had kept going, that might be bad for myself. Plus, the cards I have in my hand are actually really good for a strong round 3. So at this point, I'm just sort of accepting that I'm going to be a card down in round 3. But I know that this is a greedy deck, so greed doesn't care about advantages and disadvantages. If it's greedy, it's greedy. It'll get what it wants, you know? So, yeah, so he does get the first move with a card up, which will be tough, but we did draw our second Endrega warrior there. So I had to get rid of Penitent because Beast is gone. There was no sense. I was trying to hunt my two Endrega larvas, which would have been nice. At this point, I actually could have gotten away with getting rid of the eggs. Yeah, so I got rid of the eggs. I got Osril, so I can't remember what the last gold card is in my deck, because I know I didn't get Penitent from it. I would have been mad otherwise. So he does go ahead, plays Caravan Vanguard. So he's already played 1 with the Queen Adalia. I don't think he's played his copies yet, so I now start setting up sort of my front row full of spiders to prepare. He goes his Reynard Ordo for the engine. Yes, I did still have some decent other gold cards, like with Chiron and with Glusty Warp. Because obviously I was not getting Penitent with this, so I just go ahead and I most likely do end up making this play because I create 2 extra insects. You want your front row to be at 5 to sort of maximize the rows you have in your deck. Oh, sorry, in your front row for your KIKIQUEEN boost, because you need to make 2 copies with Caranthir and 1 base copy, which makes for a total of 9, plus the 4 plus the 5 insects that you already have. That is, of course, granted he doesn't have some sort of spread removal, of course, because my spiders are actually very easy to remove. So obviously, if you can't get rid of those, then I'm sort of free to do my thing. But knowing Uprising, they don't exactly have that means, and there's no way he's committing Visegard this early. So yeah, that's totally not a chance. So I am going to go ahead, play Caranthir. I almost played my leader ability for no reason. So I choose to play Caranthir. Yep, now the combo begins and the greed begins. Now this is sort of where the worry of Geralt Erdrin comes in. Because, you know, sometimes people will sneak in that Geralt Erdrin. There's a chance that they could possibly get rid of the Bloody Baron in exchange for Geralt Erdrin. I have seen like 1 deck that does that, but like, you know, other than that, nothing else of much, really. So it's essentially his progressive boost with Reynard and Anna versus my greedy KIKIQUEENs, and we'll see which deck is greedier. So with no more Draug, unfortunately, he's obviously not going to transform his Reynard and his Anna into a bunch of Kaedweni Revenants because they don't want to be fighting for the Draug. Of course, they want to do their own thing. But he's still a bit of a threat, so it's not like I'm out of this just yet, despite the fact that I am 14 points ahead. If he has Boiling Oil, this would probably be a chance for him to play it. And trust me, that it's gonna suck if he plays a Boiling Oil and kills my 3 KIKIQUEEN there. Okay, so he does go for the Falibor. He ends up killing Caranthir, I think. Or he just goes, okay, yeah. So that's fine. I can now play my base KIKIQUEEN, I should say. And I believe after this, I actually choose to get Chiron out onto the front row to actually trigger the Thrive from the 1/5 there, from that 5. I don't know if that's what I do right after, but I guess we'll see. In terms of sequencing, that would make the most sense, to be honest, because, you know, they're going to be the next in line for power swings, and then likely I would use Barghest to potentially Either that or I use the Oswald first to consume Eghern, and then I use Bargus as my last play because they'll both trigger Thrives no matter what order they play in, as long as they're the last 2 cards, so... here I am thinking, obviously, if he doesn't have an Urdrin, I think I'm gonna win this game. Obviously, if he has an Urdrin, I'm gonna lose this game. So that's essentially sort of my mentality there right now. My apologies. I just realized this song's actually about to end. So we're gonna switch to this one. So he goes ahead, plays Vincent Mice, of course, on that one Kikimori Queen there. Because this is only target, everything else is boosted. Plus, he wasn't gonna get another chance if actually that pulled off, so lucky him, I suppose. Okay, so I guess I decided to Oswald first because at this point, like, both were gonna trigger the Kikimori Queen anyway. But, you know, with the Oswald being played first, I can now get my Kikimori Queen 1 power up to 4. So that move made sense on my part. So he places base Lyrian Scytheman here, which is not too many points anymore considering how greedy I'm getting. So if he actually had a second Trident Infantry there, that would have actually been more value for him, I think. At this point, I play Chiron because I get that Thrive regardless, which was Chiron's sort of goal. It was supposed to meant to get this 5 up to 6, which didn't happen because of Mice. So, but yeah, I still got value out of it. So now here's where things were getting a little bit interesting because if his last card was the Baron, then, you know, I had to decide between getting even more greedy by eating Osro with my Barghest, but I think I just decided to eat Chiron to sort of minimize that Bloody Baron value. If it's Geralt's Urdrin, there's nothing I can do. I'm actually going to lose to it, so there's, you know, that's kind of out of the bag there for me. So I Barghest. No, I actually do decide to eat this. I guess that makes sense too, because, you know, I gotta get as many points as possible if he does play Urdrin. So, unfortunately, I do not get the second boost, but that is fine. I believe his last card actually is Bloody Baron, and it's not gonna be enough to defeat this deck. I just went as greedy as I possibly could, despite one of them getting destroyed, but that's fine. And I win still by quite a bit of points here, even with this Lyrian Scytheman. And yeah, that's gonna be game 1. And that's it for game 1. Okay, so here's our round 2 matchup. We are taking on Hidden Cache, so yet another popular deck now that you'll see in the ladder if you guys are in this stage of the game, like high ladder. Well, not high ladder, because it's not high ladder, but not pro rank. So here I do have my Haunt, so I actually can get going with Haunt here, which is nice, especially against a deck against the Syndicate deck, which is gonna be tough to deal with, of course. The key with Syndicate is they play quite a bit of the engines, so they have quite the amount of, like I say, money spenders. They have the Sly Seductresses, they have Passiflora Peaches, so, and they also have Sol, and Bincy's also starting to get included, so they're actually going pretty engine heavy here. I also have quite the amount of engines, aka 3 Kikimori Queens just doing the major boosts. So I do end up going first. So I play my Driga sort of Larva to start getting my Thrives going. At this point, I was sort of okay with, you know, keeping his engines going because I'm gonna get 4 boosts per turn. He's getting 1 boost per turn so far. Then again, it's not like I have any removal here in the first place, so it's not like, you know, it was gonna make much of a difference. So, like, whether I wanted to or not, he's gonna keep his engines. So, essentially, it's just me making sure that I have more engines than him. So he goes ahead, gets the Street Urchins out, and gets the boat out in it, essentially, from that. And I just go ahead, I have to play Eghern now. This is obviously sort of prone to Ewald Bersodi. If he plays Ewald Bersodi now, it's bad because Eghern dies, but in the sense, it's also not bad. Because we get rid of literally the 1 card other than Poison that can do sort of continuous damage on us. And we don't exactly want that. So he goes ahead and plays a second engine now, which I believe is 3 points. So he's generating 4 points per turn at this point, similar to me. So that's actually where I go ahead and play my Haunt for some big points coming up. And then I have Penitent as well, which I can start to trigger for the Beast. So, you know, I'm pretty much in good position here so far. So I go ahead, play my Haunt. And I also know that I have a pretty big lead, so even if he does end up playing Ewald Bersodi, I'll be down to 17. He'll be up to 22. Yeah, he'll be up to 22. I think 23 because he expends all of his resources. And Saul still gets a boost. So 24 actually. Never mind. I can't math. So yeah, see, like, even if Ehern does die, it sets up Oswald, which is nice. And, you know, I'm still getting all these points because I have 2 Endriga Larvas on the field, which is really good. So I can still keep going. So he can play probably a Bomb Heaver here if he had it. He could also play a Karathi Heat Wave if he had it. So he just opts to Fist Tech my Barghest. Again, because I'm actually very far ahead in points, I'm not exactly 100% worried about this. I also have another Consume in my hand, which is, of course, the Endriga Workers. So, you know, if Barghest does end up dying, I still have a means of eating, you know, any Death Wish units that come. And based on the look of it, I have Dettlaff and I have Endriga Eggs. At this point, I chose to keep Dettlaff because A, I'm so far ahead in points, and B, I can just use him to sort of combo with Chiron in round 3. So, you know, Dettlaff is still going to generate us some points despite the fact that Haunt has already been played. So this is where he actually might opt to pass here because I'm actually so... No, he does not. He goes ahead and completes the poison. I think I choose to complete my pass here just because I feel like if I keep going anymore, I'm not going to gain too much value. Oh, he doesn't even kill the Barghest. So yes, this is definitely a pass for me. If he had killed the Barghest, he would have actually been able to stay alive a little bit longer. But with being up 22 points, he's going to definitely need more than 1 card to, you know, to beat me in this round. So... we found ourselves in a perfect situation. He is gonna have to pass. The bad news is it's gonna be a relatively long round, which could be good for him unless he actually. But he's used up 3 poisons, so again, and Yuel Brasodi. So almost every means of being able to control my side of the field that he has in his deck are gone, literally gone. Again, the only thing I would worry about is probably a Geralt Urgent as always, because Geralt Urgent is the counter to all greedy decks. I might make a deck with Geralt Urgent on it and just call it the counter to all greedy decks because that's essentially his job in the game. So, that even in itself wasn't enough. I mean, he has to expend a couple of coins. Oh no, never mind. I forgot about the passives. Yeah, so that's fine. But regardless, he has to go down. He's down 2 cards, so he's obviously going to be passing. He would be insane if he tried to go 2-0 against me with being 2 cards down. I've seen some players try, and I've seen them all fail. So, you know, it is what it is. So at this point, I am looking for KIKIQUEEN or Mata, or any other gold card, which would actually increase my chances, but I choose not to mulligan here because I know he's gonna dry pass, so I have to play Spectre, so I can get rid of it and not be worried about it anymore. And I still have Barghest, which will trigger some thrives. I have Endriga Eggs, I have Endriga Workers that's actually gonna be enough Insectoids that creates 5. 3 from Death Wish, 1 Endriga Worker, and 1 Insectoid it creates because it ate an Insectoid. And at this point, I got my KIKIQUEEN, so I'm actually happy with... I mulligan here the other Endriga Eggs because I don't need a second copy of it. I do get Chiron, and that completes the combo with Dettlaff. So this is actually a prime hand. I chose to get rid of the second Barghest just to see if I could get another gold card to get greedy, obviously, even though it's not necessarily needed. Yeah, I think this will be good. So we go ahead, we start with our... So I'm actually debating here whether to start with Dettlaff or with Endriga Eggs. I think Endriga Eggs was the play I decided to go with. Dettlaff wouldn't have been so bad because, again, he would not expend any removal resources on it because it's just gonna come back, so it kind of makes his damage output cards obsolete if he had any left at this point. That's why I was sort of making that decision. And yeah, but it's just good to sort of start the combo out now. He has Azer Javed, and at this point, there's nothing I can do. I am going to have to let Passiflora go. The good news is he expended 3 coins because he thought I was going to have some sort of means to get rid of the Scarabs, which obviously I do not. So that actually sort of gave me the opening to play Dettlaff immediately. And by the time I get to my KIKIQUEEN combo, I don't have to worry about Dettlaff still being in hand and wondering when to play him. So he does go ahead here. He does decide to play Passiflora. Whether or not I chose to go Endriga Warrior or Dettlaff here next turn, it was not going to change his mind on the Passiflora. He had to get it out here ASAP so that his Slice Seductress could start getting points. From what I've noticed that most decks don't really run 4 Slice Seductresses anymore. I've seen them run, I think, 2 or 3. I don't think it's... I haven't seen one deck that's ran 3. At least not at 1 round, so they've been spread out from what I noticed. So he plays the Street Urchins to trigger the boat. He just played a boost to get that coin. play a coin to get that boost. I said that the wrong way. But now I start playing my greedy Kikiquen Queen. And obviously, I'm sort of back to that mindset where obviously if he has an Igni, I am screwed. So yeah. So the thing with greedy decks is, despite the fact that I want to be, you know, I wouldn't say conservative, but like, you know, I tempted to put Chiron up in the front row, and eat that Caranthier and it'll still trigger Thrive, but that's not gonna happen obviously because I have to play my other Kikiquen Queen first. And by that point, that Caranthier is sort of gone. Or like Caranthier sort of blocks that extra Insectoids. So he is still getting boosts from his Last Seductress, but at this point I'm just getting a lot more with my Thrives. So essentially in terms of point generation, I am beating him. Even with his Louisa Savola combo, I believe I am still able to beat him here. So at this point I do decide to Barghest. Again, I don't want Chiron to be getting all consumed points, just in case it gets, you know, punished by tall removal. Like let's say if he was running a Morios or something. He's yet to play Philippa if he has it, so we'll see here. We'll see if he has Philippa. I mean, Philippa is gonna be a swing, but you know, it's not gonna be enough of a swing, I don't think. There's even a chance that I don't actually play Chiron here to eat the Dettlaff. I might actually just use the Indrego Warrior to eat the Dettlaff. So there's the Sea Jackal. Because Chiron doesn't really give off any points here at this point. So still generating those 2 points. And he gets an extra 1 for every card I play with the Slice Seductress, which is fine, honestly. So I do decide to go with the Indrego Worker here. Chiron might have been a better option because at least I can eat Chiron with the Indrego Warrior and trigger all 3 at once. And I just decided to eat Caranthier there. So at this point, I'm just wondering what his last 2 cards are. Actually, even if Erdrin was here and I got Last Say and my last card would have been Osrol, I don't know. I think I still might have won the game. So he does go ahead, play Savola here. Want to make sure he gets those points for whatever that last card is going to be. If it's Philippa, Philippa's definitely not going to be enough. At this point, I just went hyper greedy with Chiron, putting him in the front row. So it gets boosted by whatever this card is. And you guys are about to witness great Gwent moment. A great Gwent moment right here. If this is the match, if this is the right match, then you're gonna see it. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Geralt, Erdrin, and yeah. Yikes. So he missed out on more than 50 points of value, I can tell you that. But with my last card being Osrol, I don't know if it would have been enough. I think it would have been close. I don't exactly... I could do the math for that and see what happens. But yeah, those are the 2 matches. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. So that'll be the end of today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed as always. If you guys did, be sure to check out 2 other deck guides I'm gonna pop up right here. And of course, subscribe to me over here for more Gwent content. And other than that, this is setting out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.